I remember the moment I finally decided to quit corn for good as if it were yesterday. My girlfriend at the time and I had been together for a few months. I had already landed a few regular clients, my business was going okay, and I managed to get some pretty good no-fap streaks in the bank. It was late at night after a good day of hard work. I was peacefully scrolling on my phone when a sudden thought hit me. It whispered in my ears, I know you said you'd quit corn, but what about audio corn? What if you tried to quit corn without ever trying that out? A little bit of audio corn won't hurt, right? What a clever argument. 5 minutes later, I'm out there ejaculating to some random Spotify thirst trap. That was my moment of awakening. I was like, there's no fucking way all of these people are looking up to a guy that just jerked off to some Spotify audio. I am done with that bullshit. So what's my solution? I open my journal and I start writing down affirmation. Gives you an idea of how desperate I was. So I'm out there writing self-sexuality is a waste of time, love, and life energy. The ultimate expression of physical love can only be experienced with a partner. And I write that over and over again. Little did I know that actually made the problem worse. My name is Danny Banchev. I'm the founder of the Off Corn Academy, and today I want to share with you 3 reasons why you should never try to ignore your sexual desire. This video will be separated into 2 different parts. The first one, we're going to cover the dangers of sexual repression. And the second one, I want to share with you 3 reasons why you should absolutely practice mindful sexuality. By the way, before we dive in, I just want to make sure you know that I'm absolutely about to give you everything you need to solve that problem by yourself, all the information and action steps you need. You absolutely don't need to give me any money, buy my courses or my coaching programs. However, it's also just general information. So if you still want to save some extra time and get personal help from me so that we can solve that problem faster and deal with your own unique situation, then you can schedule a completely free discovery coaching call with me. The link is in the description. Let me share with you one of my favorite quotes from Jordan Peterson. There's nothing more adventurous than telling the truth. Here's the thing about truth. It's one of the most difficult forms of delayed gratification. It's always uncomfortable in the moment. But what's the alternative? You can try to deceive your way into getting what you want, but how do you know that what you want is actually what you need? Trying to dismiss sexual desire as something we should ignore and it's completely irrelevant, don't look at it, and that sexuality has no benefits whatsoever, that's a complete lie and illusion. And just like any other lie, it always leads to long-term consequences. It surely did for religious institutions. I'm warning you, the next part of the video is going to contain some sensitive information. So I've replaced all of the words that could get this video censored with inappropriate behaviors. So let me read something for you. According to Bravehearts, an organization dedicated to protecting children from inappropriate behavior, a group of social workers interviewed about 7,000 survivors of inappropriate behavior, of whom 60% reported experiencing that trauma within religious institutions. And listen, to be very clear, I have nothing against the loving, unifying, spiritual side of religion, but trying to repress the fundamental biological reason why we even exist in the first place, because let me remind you, by the way, the reason you were born into this world is because your parents had sex. So trying to ignore and reject the reason why our species made it through eons is never a good idea. That's exactly when things get fucked. At some point in history, perhaps when we went from like nomad little tribes that were hunter-gatherers to when we decided to stay in one place and build bigger communities, we became so afraid of the instinctive power of sex that we just decided to ignore it overall, to pretend it doesn't exist. All of a sudden, one of the most essential natural acts of planet Earth became taboo, or even worse, evil. Yes, human sexuality is super complex. It can be painful sometimes. It can create a lot of problems. And yes, doing the inner work sucks. But what's the alternative? We already know the answer. Just look around you at society right now. That's why I would much rather promote a healthy, mindful relationship with sexual desire instead of telling people just ignore it, repress it, it's bad or it's wrong. So here are 3 reasons why you should absolutely never ignore your sexual desire. Reason number 1, it is literally one of the main sources of motivation in your life. Napoleon Hill, the author of the #1 self-improvement bestseller in the past century, Think and Grow Rich, literally has a whole chapter on the power of sexual energy. He believes that one of the main inspirations for men will always be women and the sexual desire, whether consciously or unconsciously. So his argument, which I agree with, is that we should use it instead of letting it use us. He doesn't say completely ignore it or just waste it on bullshit. He says use it. Based on the success of this book, I would listen to that advice. Reason number 2, confidence. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasures you seek. We all have our dark sides, our dark caves within us. Based on my personal experience as well as all the clients I've coached, true confidence, not the arrogant one, not the cocky one, but the true grounded masculine confidence comes from accepting, loving, knowing all the parts of you as a whole. You can't just ignore the dark side and pretend you're all this perfect human being. That dark side will manifest into your life in ways that are outside of your control. So it's much better to know it so that you can control it. So facing your darkest fears, your darkest corners of your consciousness is how you build a true, solid, grounded, unshakable confidence. And very often, since sexuality has been conditioned to be so taboo and shameful, our sexual desires are very often hiding within that shadow self. And last but not least, reason number 3, you're not gonna expect this one, but the only way to transcend sexual desire is to start by fully accepting it. So if you're actually tired of that shit taking control over you, distracting you, then the only way to break free is to start by accepting it, because guess what? Whatever you resist persists. Whatever you resist, you give power to, because where focus goes, energy flows. If I tell you right now, whatever you do, do not think about a pink elephant, okay? Pink elephant, do not think about it. Never, ever think about a pink elephant. Whatever you do, please don't. Of course, at one point you imagine the fucking pink elephant. The point is, your brain cannot process negativity, meaning it cannot process negative statements. If you focus on what you don't want, that's exactly what you get. People that are spending all their lives trying to fight sexual desire and know it's wrong and they're trying to escape it, guess what happens? It just gets stronger and stronger. And so the only way you transcend that, the first step, is to accept it. And then the paradox is that when you accept something, that's when you can transcend it. The reason I call the inner work that we do inner fitness is because it's the same as if, let's say, you practice your cardio. So when you go on a cardio journey, you want to run a marathon. You start from 0 to marathon. You're focused on the marathon. You're focused on what you want. But guess what? As you're running, as you're practicing, as you're expanding your cardio, it fucking sucks. Your muscles will hurt. The next day, your legs will be sore. You won't be able to breathe. It will suck. But the only way you make it to the marathon is you accept whatever is happening now. So focus on what you want while accepting, and even if you can, being grateful for what's happening right here in the present moment. Because what happens if the runner decides to escape from and run away from the difficult feelings and sensations in the body as he's training for the marathon? Well, he'll never make it. Accept first, then transcend. All right, that was all for me today. Hopefully you found this video valuable. Again, I gave you all the sauce. You got everything you need to solve your problem by yourself on my YouTube channel for completely free. But again, if you still want to save some extra time and get personal help from me so that we can solve your unique situation, then you can schedule a free discovery call with me. The link is in the description. In all cases though, I'll be super grateful. Subscribe. I'll see you here soon. Much love. Mwah.